Professor Nick is back in the engine room with the conclusion of his build series, featuring a numbers-matching 440 Magnum from his 1970 Dodge Challenger RT 4-speed. Plus, catch all the action from Nick's meet and greet street party. We all had a great time.
Hi, welcome back to the third part of my 440 original matching engine to my Kawasaki Challenger. You know, we did 2 episodes on this, one installing the crankshaft and the pistons, then we did a second episode installing the cylinder heads, timing cover, timing chain, and the damper. But today, I want to install the valve train, prime the engine, and I want to show you what it takes. So since the last time you saw it, I did not have the valve train on this side. I left that side empty so I could show you guys that it's very important when you install the lifters in a bore, especially a flat tappet, that you have to know what you're doing. I've installed a few of them on, but I left a few so I could show you guys. What's very important is the lifters being a flat tappet, which I've got them right here. It's not a roller lifter, it's a flat tappet like so. This is what is very important. I take a special grease, like this one here. This is made by Driven. That's what I use. You could also use Melling. They have good stuff also. I do this. I lubricate on the side. Now people ask me, don't you put the lifter sitting in a bowl of oil overnight? Why? It won't put the oil in there. The oil is going to go in there by pressurizing it. I'm going to show you after how it's done. But the most important thing is, we know we've lubricated the cam before we installed it with the same grease. Right now, what I'm showing you is on the base, the most important, you put your grease on the bottom, put a little bit on the side, and then when you put it into the lifter bore, I've got 4 here to show you. Look at this now. It goes in like so, and you got to make sure it drops in very easy. It has to be going nice and soft. Reason why? When that motor starts running, that lifter is turning. As the cam is turning, the lifter turns with the cam. So, if it doesn't turn, you will wipe out the cam and the lifter. So you got to make sure that when you put that lifter in, it works like this, very easily. So I've got 3 more left to do. Let me show you guys. Now this is very important. People don't know that. And another thing is, when people wipe out cams, you might have the incorrect motor oil. Did you put zinc additive? I'll get that in a little while. Valve spring pressure, very important. When I did the valve springs installation, we did a video on that on part 2. You know how much pressure you want on the seat and open pressure. Too much pressure, again, will wipe out your cam. So, let me start with the lifters, then we're gonna go to the push rods, then we gotta install the rocker shaft. Let's get going. Let's go. See? You know, by priming the engine, we're gonna fill up all the oil lifters. I'm going to show you an example in a few seconds. There, that went in easy. That's a very, very important thing. When you have to push in the lifter and the lifter board because it's scratched or it's rusted, buddy, you better stop. You better make sure that lifter board is clean. This was all clean to check before I washed the block. So now that it's washed and it's ready for assembly, I make sure that they work. So I put a bearing. You know, I like to put grease on it because I'm going to turn over the engine to prime it after. Like, see? Look at this, look at this. Look how easy this goes down. Look at that. So easy. It even goes down with its own weight with that thick grease. If it doesn't go down, you got to push it down. That's a no-no. People think, you know, when it's running, as the lift is going up and down, it also turns. If it don't turn, it will wipe out the cam. Here's the last lifter. As you guys can see, I did this side just to save time on the camera. I'm going to show you how this is done on the driver's side, which is identical to the passenger side. Here we go. So look at this now, look at this, look at that. Nice and soft. So now we got the lifters in place. Now let's put the push rods. Push rods, very simple. I got a whole bunch of new push rods from Melling, which are here, but I don't need to use it because my push rods are still good. I've got a few 440s to build, So I could use those push rods for a client. So here we go. We're going to put the push rods. They go up or down. It doesn't matter. Does it need to put oil when it's down in the lifter? No, you don't need to. You're going to put oil where it touches the rocker. So let's put them in like so. And you know that these lifters are dry. No matter where you buy them from, they're dry. Maybe they're lubricated, but they're not filled with oil. Let me show you an example. You see this? Look at this now, just to show you. You see that push rod going up and down? Look at that lifter. There's no oil in there. See that? You see that? Let's check the other ones. All the same. Look, they all go up and down. See that? Look at that. They go up and down. Even though you would soak the lifters overnight in a bowl of oil and you take them out the next day, it'll be the same. You want to put oil in the lifters, you got to prime the engine. The oil galleries are going to fill in the little holes on the side of the lifter, fill it up, and then they're going to be solid rock. But to get there, now we have to put the rocker shaft. You know, I just wanted to say that, yes, people put lifters in a bowl overnight to soak with oil. I do that with roller lifters, so the oil could sink into the rollers overnight, sink into the rollers, hydraulic roller or solid roller lifters. I do put them in a bowl overnight and sit in the oil. Not for the plunger, for the rollers themselves. Then for that reason, yes. But then again, I still prime it after anyways. But the most important thing is the wheels, the rollers have to be sitting in oil overnight. So here we go. Now we got a brand new shaft from Melling. Now I just want to show you guys. You can tell one side, there's no lubricating holes. You go to the other side, you see lubricating holes. Now if you guys take a look, these are the support holes for the tie down the shaft. But if you look at the holes, they're off to the side. Do you know why? Because there's a reason. That hole goes towards the valve spring, like so. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get one bolt right here, and it goes towards the bottom of the hole, not the top. There we go. And I wanted to say another thing, even my rockers on my original engine are also in great shape. So I'm going to use my rockers. And I also wanted to say, Melling makes the exact replacement rocker arm exactly like the factory. But I don't need to put them on. I've got so many 440s to build, I'll save them for another engine. You know, like a 383, a 400, 440, and so forth. So I'll save them for a client. But in the meantime, I will use my rockers I have here. They're not bad, they're pretty good. So I got the new lifters, I got the new shaft. So now I'm going to assemble my rocker shaft. And here we go. Now, you don't need to put the oil on the push rod down in the lifter. There's no friction there. The friction is up here where it meets the rocker arm. So this is what you do now. You take this push rod and you do like so. Okay? You see it? Now you're probably saying, how come I don't lubricate the shaft? I'm not going to worry about it. But when I prime the engine, you're going to see why I don't lubricate the shaft. Don't need to. It's going to get all the oil in the world. So let me put my rockers in. And you guys, you have to see that there's a left and a right. There's a left-hand side, that's a right-hand side rocker. Okay? So they're going to go in like so, inboard. And between each two rockers that are on the same cylinder, there's a ring or a washer. I'll put it in like so. There's one, there's the ring, and there's the rocker. There we go. Then slowly but surely we'll get it running. Now I'll put my spacers for the shaft, like so. Just a few turns. Get the rockers in place. Get a ring. Rocker. Spacer, or you call it a ring, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, these are non-adjustable rockers, like so. Then we get the other spacer, like so. Get two more rockers, get another ring. Another spacer. Do we have everything inboard, inboard, inboard? Sounds good. we got another inboard here, another pair. So you can see, that's to the right. Then you got your ring, and this is to the left. Now, I put my spacers in there, or the shaft hold down. Now, because in some cases when you deck a block or when you shave the heads, you're bringing the shaft closer to the deck. In other words, now you're putting more preload on the lifters. So what you want to do is you want to bring it back up. I've milled the heads about, I believe, I mentioned last time, maybe a few thou. I milled them about 10 or 15 thou just to make sure they're straight. I did mention maybe 5 or 6 thou, but I checked with the machine shop that did the work for me. They milled them about 15 thou. And now for that reason, I got shims, 15 thou, and they're going to be raising my shaft off the cylinder head. And this is how it's done. You take off the spacers or the rocker shaft support. You put it like so. There you go. So I'm going to do that to all 5 bolts that support the shaft. And I've done the same for the other side. So here we go on this one. You put it like that, you see the hole in it, and it locks in place. Once you tighten it down, like so, look at it. It's a very simple piece of a thin sheet metal. And don't worry, the oil that goes up the block, it will go through these shims. So don't worry about it, it will work. Got number 3, and they're all the same thickness, they're about 15 thou, and this goes the same for all 5 supports. After that, we are going to tighten down the rocker shaft. There's one. Now we get into the last one. Very simple, you guys. Look, just make sure wherever you have to remove a shaft, pay close attention wherever builds an engine. Sometimes they put them in. I do that. When I mill heads down or deck the block, I put them in very often. So now slowly but surely, I'm going to start lowering the shaft by tightening it down. You got to make sure that all the push rods are lined up inside the rocker arm. I'll get my ratchet. You know, you got to go slowly one by one, because some lifters are down, some lifters are up, and that means the pushers, some are up, some are down. So I'm going to take my ratchet and bring it down slowly. And these bolts, you torque them down to about 35 foot-pounds, just to let you guys know. You can ask me if I'm going to use the torque wrench. No, I've done it many times, and I don't think I need to use a torque wrench. After, guys, when you guys do a lot of these, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If it's your first engine, torque them down, okay? Go according to the shop manual. You got to be careful as you tighten down the shaft. You want to make sure that all the push rods are in place in the lifters, and of course all in the rockers, like so. Okay. Okay, I'll tighten it down like so. 35 foot-pounds. As you guys can see, look, as I was saying earlier, you see that? All these lifters are empty. You see that? Now, once I prime the engine, I'm going to do the same thing like this. See that? There, you know the lifters are empty. So this is normal. Don't worry, this is normal. So now, I'm going to put the valve cover on so I can start putting oil in it, the oil filter, and I'm going to start priming. I also installed my oil gauge at the rear where the sensor goes. So I want to see at least 70-75 foot-pounds of pressure with the electric drill. So this is what I do with every engine build. Okay, so I'll get my valve cover. As you can see, it's got an opening on it. I'll put 2 studs on it. And I've done this before on another video, but since we have a lot of new viewers on board our channel, I like to show it again once in a while. Now this is like for big block Chrysler. Not all engines are alike when it comes to big block Chevy or so. That's another thing. But I still prime them accordingly. This is the fun part for me. When I start priming an engine, I know I'm almost done. Just give me a few minutes. This is my personal engine, you guys, so it's my personal engine. Feels great. I had it sitting in the corner for 5 years, and I finally said I'm gonna make a video how I put a simple engine together for you viewers back home. If you're working out of your home, your backyard, or your back alley, or in your basement. You know, this is not building a racing engine, just a simple rebuild. This is what I've done. This is what I want. It's not a racing engine. Just build it to factory specifications. I put a little simple cam that Melanie supplied me with. Okay. The thing that takes the most time is trying to find the cam to line up with the block to lubricate the oil on one side to another on the blocker shaft. Okay, so now we get our oil. In this case, I'm going to use a 20W50 oil with zinc. I use the 20W50 VR1. It's a zinc oil. It has zinc in it. So now I'll use a 2050. I usually use 1030 or 2050. It doesn't matter, but to break it in, I don't care. I'm just going to break it in. And I wanted to make sure that the oil stays there thick at every place where I need to be lubricated. So I use Wix filters, 515, okay? And you know what? I fill them up. Even on an engine job here, I fill them up. And even when I work on a car, I take out the oil filter, I fill it up halfway. And then I like when you're doing an oil change, put at least half the filter with oil, because when you put a new filter, it takes a few seconds to fill it up. So your engine is going to run dry without any oil pressure at all. So what I do is I fill it up halfway, lubricate the O-ring, or should I say the rubber seal, then install it on the car. That's the same way I'm doing here right now with this engine. There's only one problem. I got to install the oil pump, which I haven't done yet. So give me a few minutes. I have it here. This is the typical oil pump I use in all my 440 builds made by Melling, M63HB, which is high pressure, not high volume. So we'll put this here. And I used to work with a lot of different oil pumps that do not line up perfect on the block. So I'm going to tilt the engine over just to show you guys a rough idea. Okay, so this is a pump from Melling, made in USA. What I do with this, I'll show you right now. I'll take a shaft. I also have this from Melling, I'll show you. This is a shaft I got from Melling, like so. This is an oil pump drive off the cam and also runs the distributor. That's what the slot is for. And the pump turns counterclockwise, just like the distributor. So what I do is I prime the pump before I install it on the block, like so. See, I never put it on dry. And what I was telling you before, that opening right here, according to milling, or should I say all the pumps I've used for milling, line up with this opening right here and there. They line up perfect. So I know that milling has no issues. So the most important thing is I'm going to lubricate it. It is a brand new pump. I like so. Why? Because a dry pump, you could prime it, it won't work sometimes. In many cases it won't. And here we go, look at this. I do this. I put some grease in there, like so. Nothing special. Okay. Now, take out the gear drive. I take out the gasket. We got to put an O-ring in here. Where's the box? Here we go. I remember back a few years, we had a pump when I was installing it on the block, that opening, that bolt, especially this one here, the intake side did not line up with the block. It was like 50% off, and I used to grind them. Then Melanie talked to me on this, and I said, they asked me what pump it was. I said it wasn't a Melanie pump, it wasn't a Chrysler pump, I don't know what it was. So they sent me a couple to try, and of course they did not do any machine work. As it is casted, it lined it up perfect. And for that reason, I use their milling products and I never had any issues whatsoever. If you can see, I use pumps, push rods, rockers, timing chains, everything from milling that's available, I get from them. So now we put the O-ring on this here, like so. It's applied with the gasket, of course. It comes in this little package. I'll put the ring on. I'll lubricate it a bit. Then I take a little bit of grease. Here's the gasket. Come and see this. I use the grease just to hold the gasket in place, like so. Just to hold it in place. Okay, there you go. Now, put a little bit of grease here so the O-ring can slide in, like so. So now, I get my 4 bolts to hold the oil pump. You know, by priming the engine, you're going to tell us everything. If the pump is good, or if we have an oil leak, or if we forgot a plug, it's going to tell us everything. Of course, that is the reason we're going to bolt it on right now, and we're going to prime it. Every engine I build, I prime it. If I don't get the oil pressure I want, the engine will not be installed on the dyno. Here we go. We do this. Let's make sure the ring is there. Sure is. That's all good. So let's line up our bolts. Four bolts hold the oil pump in place. I got them here. Here's the good part. If you want to increase or decrease the pressure on a Mopar big block oil pump, all you have to do is remove this plug, and there's a spring in the back. Either you add shims or remove the spring, change the spring to get the pressure you want. So now I don't know what we're going to have. I know we're going to have something like 70-75, but when it comes hot, does it need more oil pressure or not? That's going to tell us on the dyno. But in the meantime here, we're going to prime it and see what we get. Okay, let me torque it down, or should I say let me tighten it in place. Okay, now we screw on our oil filter. Here we go. Hand tight, like so. Bring the edges straight up. So now we have our oil pan in place. So now it's a 6-quart pan. We're gonna get our oil, and this is how I fill it up. Here we go. You know, sometimes I use 1030, sometimes I use 2050. But I'll break it in, run it for a while, then I'm going to use 1030. But let me see what this oil pressure is going to be hot. Then I'll take it from there. If I need to drop it, I'll go to a 1030. And if it's too high still, I'll change the spring. I'll put a regular spring. It's an HP pump. It's got a high performance, stronger oil pressure spring for 70, 75 pressure, cold start. So let me put the oil in. And at the same time, I'm going to put about 6 liters. Okay, here we go. 6 liters or equivalent to 6 quarts US. And what's very important, engine break-in, I also add a Lucas zinc additive. I want to make sure that I've got no issues with the cam. You know, after all, you want to break in the cam, you want to make sure it goes well. You know, I've done this for so many times. I've been lucky. Why would I want to change the system? So here we go. We put this in. Okay, let's get some more oil. So we got our oil pump, we got our rockers, the rocker shafts, push rods, lifters in place, got the oil pump in place, and now let's put the oil and then we start priming. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're good. My favorite part, priming the engine. When you prime the engine, after that, all you got to do is put on the intake manifold, exhaust manifolds, water pump, off to the dyno. The oil pump is the heart of the engine. If the oil pump stops working or stops pumping, yeah, within a few miles, it's going to be a catastrophe. Okay, so we got our 6 liters of oil. I got my zinc additive, like so. Let this drain very good. I'll give it some time. All right, so we have our oils in the engine with the zinc. I've reset the cameras over both cylinder heads so you guys can see when you start priming how the oil comes to the rockers. Now, here's the 2 channels that feed oil to the rockers. Okay, this is the passenger side, that's the driver's side. Once that cam lines up at 6 o'clock with the opening on this side, it will shoot the oil on this side. Then as you turn the cam or the crank, it stops. Then after a little while, after so many degrees, it goes to the other side. And then back and forth over and over and over. So it keeps shots. Every time as the engine runs, it shoots oil, not constant, once at a time, okay? So every revolution of the cam is a shot of oil to the shaft. And there's quite a bit coming up. Okay, let's see if we can see it on camera. I've got these valve covers. I got these old valve covers. They were in bad shape, so I used them. I cut them up so I could show you guys and for myself. So when I prime the engine, I really want to see that oil up there. Now, I know in one way that when I line this engine up top dead center, I don't know if it's compression or exhaust or stroke, whatever, the oil will feed to one side of the head. Or I'll make a 360 turn, which turns the cam halfway, because one turn on the crank is half a turn on the camshaft. So we might have to go a full turn to get oil on one side. So here we are, top dead center. I'm going to prime it. Where's my drill? And this is a shaft I bought from Mopa Performance many years ago. It goes right down to the oil pump, goes onto my drill, and I put it right down here. You see where it goes? Check it out. This is taking the place of this gear drive that works off the cam and turns the oil pump. And on the same time, it's turning the distributor. If you look, the gear is right there on the cam. That lines up with the oil pump drive right there. So let's see now. We're going to get oil in the rockers, and at the same time, we're going to see what oil pressure we get. Here it is. There we go. Here we go. You got to make sure the oil filter gets filled up. Give it a few seconds. Then when you feel pressure in the drill, there we go. What pressure do we have? 75. There we go. That's exactly what I got on every 440. So, now let's get oil to the rockers. So far we got nothing. I can tell that I see nothing bleeding down on the cast iron block. So, like I said earlier, maybe we should turn it 360 degrees. And one side's gonna pop up for sure, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, here we go. Ready? Go for it. Holy smokes, look at that. Look at this. Here we go. Look at that oil coming out. Look at that oil coming out. That is the reason why I don't need to lubricate the shaft. Look at the oil coming out. And we're still almost at 75 PSI. See now, you see no oil on the other side whatsoever. So we got a lot of oil coming out over here. Now we've wet the rockers, the shafts, the valve springs, and everything. Push rods and all. Now let's do the same for the other side. Now this is where it takes a little guesswork. You see, I notice now when this is a top dead center, I believe it's compressor stroke or not, I don't know, whatever it is. Top dead center, the passenger side feeds oil. Now I'm going to turn a bit at a time until I see oil on the other side. So if you see now, when I turn it a bit, there will be no more oil coming out on this side at all. See that? Now you got no oil. No oil coming out. Now we're going to wait for the other side. There we go. There's no oil on this side at all coming up. So I said, you already did its job. So keep watching on that side, George. Here we go. Let me know when it comes out. I also wanted to say, while I'm priming and turning the engine over, I'm weighing all the bearings on the crankshaft, cam bearings, and I am fulfilling all the lifters. And after I get this side to get lubricated on the shaft, I'm going to prime it a bit more, and I'm going to show you that the rockers will have no play whatsoever. And that's how I fill up the lifters, with the pump from the engine. So let's keep going. Now you see the oil coming down on the side? There you go. Look at the oil coming down on the sides. That's what I wanted to see. So I got oil on all the rockers. And of course, the bearings, the cam, the pressure I'm looking for, it's all there. I'm just gonna turn it away from the rockers. See now, the oil pump's working. There's no oil going on either side. Just to tell you guys, it shoots as the crank turns, or the cam turns, as I said, the cam shafts, it shoots oil like this. And you get more than enough. It doesn't shoot oil all the time. It just shoots, and it's enough oil to feed all the rockers. Now, I wanted to show you guys what I was telling you earlier. Let's check the lifters if they go up and down. Here we go. Let's take any rocker. I'll push it down. Look. They're all solid. Nothing's going down. Look at it. See? There is no play. I'm pushing down just to show you. Look at this. See that? There is no play. That means all the lifters are filled. Let's check this side. See that? They're all solid rock. So now I know all my lifters are filled with oil. So now what I do is I put the crankshaft, doesn't matter what, just put the mark lined up. I'll show you why. This is the factory. It doesn't matter if it's top, dead center, compression, or exhaust, doesn't matter. We take our gear, oil pump drive. I also lubricate it, like so. Now this is the oil pump drive that runs off the cam and also runs the distributor. You can put it in any way you wish, but I'm going to put it in the way Chrysler does. They put that slot running parallel to the camshaft, like so. Let me put it in there, line it up. Usually this goes in pretty easy. Sometimes it's stubborn and sometimes it's not. There we go. Bingo. Take a look. If you look, see it's parallel. So now we got an oil pump drive. You know, I like to put it in before I put on the intake manifold. So there we have it. And you guys, you know, when you wash the block, you start putting in all the oil gallery plugs. There are 2 behind the timing chain and there's 3 more in the back, like so. 2 right over here and 1 up there. So once you got them all in place in this big block Mopars, you should be okay. So those got to be in place. If any of those are missing, you're going to lose oil pressure. But like I said, when you finish washing the block, I put in the core plugs, cam bearings, and of course the oil gallery plugs. So there you have it. Now the next thing I got to do is just put on the water pump, intake manifold, and exhaust manifolds. And then the next time you guys are going to see it, we're going to have it on the dyno. And let's see how it goes. We're going to start her up, break in the cam. And is it going to make 375 horsepower like they say from the factory? I'm not so sure. Let's find out. I did plane the heads about 15 thou. I did use a 20 thou shim gasket like that from the factory. And of course, the pistons are 20, 25 below the deck. And the block has not been decked. I left it as original. It's got a very, very small mild cam that I got from milling. And nothing else is special. Double roller timing chain, 6-quart pan, high pressure milling oil pump, and the rest is up to the dyno. Tell us what it does. And there you have it, you guys. Here it is, my original 440 that I've been waiting for 5 years. I'm showing you guys how to put the most important pieces together. A simple job that you guys could do at home. And then the next thing you see, I'm going to have this on a dyno. And we'll do another video on that too. You know, after sitting 5 years in the corner, you know, I had my engine. And I keep telling everybody it's a matching engine to the car. But it sat in the back with a nice clean block and I never had it assembled. But now I've got it all together. I want to dress it up. And if everything goes well in the dyno, I want to put up all the dress ups, the spark plug wires, the carburetor, and then put it right beside my car and say, there it is, the matching engine to my car. Will I install it or not? You guys tell me, what do you think? All right? And you guys, thanks for watching us here on Nick's Garage, and don't forget to subscribe and press the like button. And take care of yourselves.
Nick's original 440 is finally coming together. Now that's something to celebrate. And soon after this video was shot, Nick had the chance to celebrate with all his friends, family, and viewers. at his summertime Nick's Garage meet and greet street party. We opened the doors to the shop, and with a lot of help from a lot of great people, we all had a wonderful time together.
Welcome to Nick's Garage. What a day for a car show.
Folks came from far and wide to take part, show their cool cars, and check out the shop. We met friendly, kind viewers from all over the place, and we thank everyone for making the trip. The weatherman was on our side, as the sun was shining all day, so this community of car lovers could forget about spots on their paint and just concentrate on having a great time. Dwayne Dixon, Po' Boy Sam, and DJ Breeze were all on the stage all day long, providing an awesome soundtrack for the day. Also among the many folks to whom we owe a big thank you are George and his team from Patate 2000, who came through for us with a truckload of free poutine for our guests. This iconic Montreal snack is a part of life for locals, and we were happy to share a taste of our home with folks who came from a long way to be with us. Also on the snack menu that day was a table full of delicious, authentic Italian pizza, courtesy of our good friend Tony from DOD Transport. Tony also reminded us all how lucky we are to be able to celebrate together, while a very special member of his family is not so fortunate. Nico is battling leukemia, while he's looking forward to his second birthday. Nico loves to play with cars, just like all of us at the party, and we know he deserves a chance to have a long and happy life, filled with peace, love, and muscle cars. We're glad to be able to share Nico's story with our amazing community of viewers, and we ask you to help if you can. After all, helping each other is just about the best way we can spend the time we have. So thank you all once again for your generous hearts, your warm smiles, and your beautiful machines. The Nick's Garage Street Party was a day to remember, and that's all because of you. As usual, one of the best parts of any car show is at the end and watching the cars leave. And when it's time for Mathieu in his six-pack Roadrunner, everyone gets their cameras out.
wasn't going to take it easy on you, man.
Nick loves a good burnout as much as the next guy, but he knows who will get the call if anything breaks. And sure enough, about a half hour after he left, Mathieu is back with his Roadrunner and a broken drive shaft. It seems he had a little bit too much fun on the trip home. Lucky for Mathieu, the shaft is the only damage to the car, and Nick just so happens to have another one in stock. So after a little wrenching and a few more laughs, the Roadrunner is ready to run once more.
And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.